Welcome back, everybody. Peace and vibes as always. Salute. Thank you for joining me. As you get in this room, please remember to please like, share, subscribe. Costs you absolutely nothing but a couple seconds of your time. It's much appreciated and much needed. Um, as YouTube continues their relentless campaign to shadow ban the channel and deny us the proper growth that should be developing alongside this channel, but hasn't. So we know what's going on. Black Magic, aka Shadow Dan, aka you already know. When you speak the truth, this is what YouTube does. But anyway, salute to everybody. Thank you for joining me. It's an early video for you guys on the East Coast, right around 2 p.m. So right smack in the middle of the workday. Apologize for that. But it's rather late for me over here on the other side of the pond. So decided to get this video out real quick and talk about what's been going on with the MLB postseason. But first, obviously, we have to start with the most obvious thing that's happened. Me being a native New Yorker, born and raised in New York, and grew up as a New York native supporter across the board: New York Rangers, New York Knicks, New York Yankees, you know. And obviously, as I grew up, that changed quite dramatically. But born and raised in New York, and last night in the AL Division Series, ALDS, the New York Yankees were eliminated by the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 4 of the ALDS. Right, four, a number often associated with death, termination, ending, those type of things. But I wanted to come on and specifically talk about, in my opinion, this was one of the easiest series to call across the board in regards to the division series. Now, there were four division series matchups. A couple of them are still going on. This one was, I believe, the first one to end. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, so um, obviously Toronto wins the series 3-1. Uh, this happened yesterday, October 8th. Hold on, let me see. On the eve, I believe. Hold on. Uh, when did this happen? Hold on. Give me this. Let me check. Let me check this real quick. Sorry, guys. I'm doing some. Okay. So not that date. Got you. But yeah, October 8th, series ended for the New York Yankees. Obviously, 10/8, 108. It's a number associated with baseball and Major League Baseball, MLB. When you write out Major League Baseball, it equals 108. Let me see. Baseball. Just to guarantee. Yes. MLB. Baseball. Major League equals 108. But yeah, 10/8, like 108. In my opinion, one of the reasons why this was the most obvious series to call in regards to division series, there were a couple of things that just stood out to me. One being that the Yankees were one of the most heavily favored American League teams to advance to the American League Championship. When you take a look at big markets, oftentimes it's between New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, those type of things. But when it comes to specifically baseball, in the American League, there is no team that's bigger market wise, historically, than the New York Yankees, right? That's just the way it's been for the last 30 years, 40 years. It's been like that for a very, very long time. And, they were the favorite to make it out of the American League. Obviously, that did not pan out. So we had a lot of New York Yankee backers that were disappointed last night, that were crying. My opinion, I gave out a MLB preseason World Series exacta where I had my American League team and my National League team. Now, just for clarity, the New York Yankees was not my team to make it out of the American League. So this did not directly affect myself or my community. This was actually, we're actually happy that this happened. But the New York Yankees had a lot of money behind them, right? There were a lot of people that were quietly and loudly invested in the New York Yankees making it to the next series. And sadly enough, that didn't happen. And with New York going down 2-0 early, you had a bunch of narratives going all across YouTube that said the New York Yankees still had a chance, still had a possibility, a comeback, scenario or comeback narrative or a comeback theme. I never felt like that. I've always felt that Toronto was going to and will make it out of this series and defeat the New York Yankees, and that's exactly what happened. Oftentimes, leading into a series, you'll see a ton of propaganda that's put out by the big sports networks, the controllers, the elite, the people that own these teams, that own these leagues, that own these media companies, these channels, these platforms. And one of the biggest stories that came out prior to the American League Division Series with these two teams specifically was that the Blue Jays left Bo Bichette off the ALDS roster. Now, for those of you that don't know who that is, Bo Bichette is a rising and is a all-star with the Toronto Blue Jays. And this was announced right before the series started that Bo Bichette would not be playing. Now, ironically enough, in spite of one of their best players not being on the ALDS roster, the Toronto Blue Jays were a favorite in this series before any game started. Right, they were slightly favored to take the series at minus 120. And the New York Yankees, when you take a look at their regular season statistics, as far as offensively, um, the New York Yankees beat out Toronto in mostly every offensive category that matters besides batting average, right? If you look at the statistics for this year, um, Toronto Blue Jays had a slightly better batting average than the New York Yankees, but the New York Yankees had a better pitching staff, hit more home runs, uh, had more RBIs, you know, overall just a better offensive team and pitching wise as well. Throughout this series, you've seen the New York narrative for a possible comeback, and it just didn't happen. It didn't make it. So the Yankees were underdogs in this series, which made absolutely no sense. And the majority of the season, the series, two in the division series, it's 2-1, I believe. So it's two at home, two on the road, and then come back for the person that had home field advantage, right? The first two games weren't even close, in my opinion. The Blue Jays won 10-1, then 13-7. The Yankees stole Game 3 in what was typically a bullpen game. But if you take a look at last night, the Toronto Blue Jays on the road defeated the Yankees 5-2. Now, if you take a look at what was going on in hockey, because we understand that oftentimes they have these cross sports leagues connections. Last night, you had the Toronto Maple Leafs defeat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2. Right before the Yankees were defeated 5-2 by the Toronto Blue Jays. So the exact same score with Canadian teams. Obviously, it wasn't a playoff hockey game, but there's still quite a connection there. So Toronto did what they needed to do and won 5-2 in both respective games, hockey and baseball. And for everybody that backed the Toronto Blue Jays to make it through this series, that was a plus money underdog situation. I'm sorry, not a plus money underdog situation, but basically even. So minus 120, just a little bit of tax there. Shout out to you guys. We believed wholeheartedly that Toronto Blue Jays were going to make it through here. Obviously, Aaron Judge being a huge star for the MLB, he's always going to be somebody that they prop up, especially in the market like New York, right? But you have to kind of see through that, and and just really understand what they're trying to do, right? Toronto outscored the Yankees 28-10 in the series, I believe, after yesterday's game. Almost tripled their run output, 28-10. Obviously, the New York Yankees still chasing that 28th World Championship. They've been sitting on 27 for quite a while. Championships. And yeah, it's the 28th one is going to be very, very difficult, in my opinion, for them to steal, for them to accomplish it. Obviously, 27 is a number connected emphatically with baseball and with rituals, primarily with the MLB, but 27 is just a huge number across the board in connection with baseball. And obviously, the Yankees are sitting on 27 world championships. So that seems like a very symbolic number. But we shall see as the future holds. Do I think they'll stay on 27 championships for the rest of the team's history? Probably not. But the next one will be quite meaningful and will break through some sort of barrier, I believe. Getting past 27 is very, very, difficult and symbolic. So we shall see when and where that will happen. But the main reason I came on here was just to speak about, in my opinion, how obvious Toronto getting past the New York Yankees was. This was something my community and myself has been on board the entire time. We really, really had no doubt about this series specifically. And thankfully, they took care of it early in just 4 games. There was no need for game 5, a decisive game 5, which is awesome. Never want to sweat out a game, a series clinching game. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays. Shout out to the community for being on the right side of this series. And for those of you still paying attention to New York Yankees or any type of narratives that just sound really, really good, it's like great bedtime stories, right? You want to believe in these things like Santa Claus and like the Tooth Fairy. It sounds great. You want to continue to believe in them and support them. Put the dollar under your pillow and put the cookies out by the tree and all this other nonsense. But at some point, you got to wake up. You can't keep being sold the same rollout and the same media bullshit and propaganda, and just open your eyes and really, really start to pay attention and see beyond the numbers, right? You have to start identifying the tactics that these leagues, dish out and use to confuse even people that claim to be quote unquote woken up already, right? They still fall for the same, narratives, the same media cycle, the same output, the same stories, just remixed, recycled, and reformatted every single year. So for those of you that are not already following, Flipping the Script Sports on Patreon, you can get on over there, join up, support, and become a member of an awesome community that's been taking care of scripted sports games and leagues for years now. The link will be in the description of my video. We're still sitting here patiently observing and seeing what the outcome will be for this year as far as the World Series. Thankfully, we're in the driver's seat when it comes to that scenario. My World Series was given out prior to the season even starting. It's the earliest I've ever given out a future, and I'm happy to report that as of this point, we're still live. So that's a great, great accomplishment, right? You write out the whole season and make it to the postseason, and we're almost on division series clinching weekend, and we're still here. So late October, not early October, and we're still here. So it's something to be proud of and happy about. So Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe. Um, right now, we have the MLB postseason going on. The NHL season just got underway. NFL season right smack in the middle, or about a third of the way through. The NBA season will be coming back shortly. UFC is still in play. College football is underway, so there's a ton of sports going on all across the board. Keeping myself very, very busy, and ton of profit being made, ton of bags being collected. So get on over and join up. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love as always. And yeah, salute. Take care.